And now to our conversation today. The internal crisis in the Labour Party has continued unabated, with the primaries in some states to pick candidates ahead the local government election in states across the country. The obedient movement loyal to the 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi is calling on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, not to recognize primaries conducted by the Abure faction loyal to Lamidi Papa. Recall that the National Convention held by a faction of the Labour Party, led by its embattled national chairman, Julius Abure, has further widened the scope of its internal crisis, with aggrieved stakeholders threatening to pull out of the Labour Party. To help us understand the internal crisis in the party and the way forward, I'm joined by Honorable Ikenna Azomchine, a former governorship aspirant in Anambra State. He also leads the New Nigeria movement. Honorable, thank you for joining us on the program this evening. Many thought that the challenges within the Labour Party had finally ended when the Apapa faction backed Abure as chairman in June, but that doesn't seem to be the case. What do you consider the key issues driving this crisis?
You just said, good evening, viewers. I refuse to accept your assertion that Apapa backed illegality cannot back illegality from the obedience perspective, which we are. They are both illegal. We believe that we don't have a chairman in Labour Party, as INEC has clearly stated. And on that note, we should have a discourse on what is going on.
So at what point did you cease from having a chairman within the Labour Party?
It was in the news. INEC had clearly made it clear that his signatures were no longer an authority, and that his tenure had elapsed. And we expect the gentleman who is in Abure to come out and help the obedient movement and the Labour Party strengthen itself to face the leading APC that is for dragging in the economic development of our nation and trying all it can to lure us into a chaos. I mean, it's obvious, and you know it, that Nigeria at this moment, it's not really the situation is getting out of hand, and it's not in anybody's wish that we fall apart.
But we also saw on TV a National Congress from which Abure emerged chairman of the party. There's a little bit of confusion here. What nullified that process?
It is, of course, an illegal convention, which, you know, first they kept shifting from A to B location. And the constitution of the NWC is not even, the presidential candidate himself is not even there. A lot of us obedience were not there. It was a kangaroo convention as far as we are concerned. It's illegal. And it's important that Abure realizes that he's breaking the law. Who permitted the congresses? Who gave the authority? I mean, they just went to Anambra and some states and they started extorting people and claiming Congress. Who permitted the Congress? Where did they get the authority from? They are breaking the law. The EFCC and the appropriate authorities should go and effect justice and allow the opposition to thrive. We feel that there's a ploy here to undermine the opposition and cause mayhem, and at the same time accuse us of being the aggressors. And here it's impossible. The world knows the truth. We expect the handlers of.
Is this the same position? Is this the same position held by the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi?
I don't speak for His Excellency, but it's obvious, being the obedient general, being one of the top obedients, we know the intrigues in Labour Party. We know there's a systematic plan to undermine and reduce the strength of Labour Party, but we are just yet to figure out who are the culprits and hold them accountable. So we are appealing to the relevant authorities to do their work, to make sure there is peace in Labour Party.
So you have called this Congress illegal. Have you taken any legal action against how Abure emerged as national chairman?
Well, forced way obedience, we are condemning it because we know it's illegal. It was not, it was never in any plan for a Congress to be held before a proper convention. So it's illegal. And we are waiting to hear from the transition NLC transition committee. They should quickly come up with a convention and strengthen the Labour Party so that we can move on. As you know, the Labour Party is a bride of the beautiful bride at the moment. We did well in 2023, but I think it's not God's wish that we are piloting the affairs of the nation. But I think that those who danced the reggae song when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu became president are today going to the market and biting their tongues and their teeth. It's an obvious proof that things are not going well.
I'm wondering exactly how you respond to critics who say Peter Obi's inability to unite your party, the Labour Party, behind him is an indictment on his leadership capacity, especially from someone who wants to lead Nigeria.
First of all, I must say from the obedience perspective that we expect His Excellency Peter Obi to swing into action with immediate effect and tell the obedience where we are at the moment. Because it's like we have a limousine being driven by criminals. We need to know who is the appointed driver. We need to know that now. And obedience are calling me. They are calling on me. We call out on our presidential candidate to do the needful with immediate effect.
What do you consider the needful? Some of us are being
stolen already by hold on. Some of us are already being stolen by the ruling APC, as you know. We don't want obedience being stolen to other parties. We need obedience to be formidable. We need to be strong and face 2027 just like we did in 2023.
I'm trying to understand what you're inferring. Leaving the Labour Party?
Wherever our principal goes, but now he's in Labour Party, we need to see him doing what is needed to do in Labour Party for Labour Party to be able to present a candidate in the local level and at the federal level. That's what we are calling on him to do.
There are some who have, talked about that if you understand the political history of this nation, you'll find out that it takes patience to build a particular party to a point where it has national relevance and it can win national election. This narrative, for instance, that the obedient movement is bigger than the Labour Party, some say rubbishes the concept of party loyalty and the fact that you actually need the party to run because you got more than 6 million votes last year on the platform of the Labour Party. It's no-brainer that stay with the party, build, and then you have a brighter future. You don't agree with that?
First of all, I will strongly disagree with you that we just had only 6 million votes. That is still in the contest. At the same time, we don't have any fears of any political party. If our presidential candidate goes to SDP, for example, the same force and human resources will go to that party and it's going to become same as Labour Party. But because we have spent so much time and money to campaign on the Mama Papa Pikin, which has been inserted into the rural areas in the north, for example, where I campaigned, I would not advise my principal to leave the Labour Party if I have the powers to do that.
Okay, I'm sure that you're hearing about some news about defection already. We're just hearing about Senator Azomchine Francis defecting from the Labour Party. But you don't think that this stance by the obedient movement and the refusal to work with the Abure faction is causing more harm to the party's chances in the upcoming elections, and moving to an entirely new party means starting all over again?
We obedience are law-abiding people. Obedience are the professors, the doctors, the lawyers, keke driver, the civil servants, the poor market woman, the Okada riders. We do not have any fear of whatever party that would the new Nigeria would follow. It's not about party. Obedience are in APC, they are in PDP, they are in every political party. I know the obedience in APC. Every one of us is hungry at this moment, gentlemen. Every one of us.
Interesting.
It's no longer a party. We are not talking about party politics anymore. We are talking about the Nigerian people at this moment. 2027 is still far.
Yeah.
That's why we are crying very loud for the Labour Party to put itself in order. We cannot force Abure to do what he knows is the right thing to do. Abure is an obedient. Abure is an obedient. So we expect him. And we obedience are calling on Abure to immediately do the right things. He can step down. If there's any lacuna there legal lacuna for him to come back, the process should be followed immediately. We should not.
We have run out of time for this conversation, Mr. Azomchine. We're going to continue subsequently and also attempt to get the other side of the story. Former governorship aspirant in Anambra State, Honorable Ikenna Azomchine, thank you for talking to us on the program this evening.
My appreciation.